Dear audience, in this touching story, Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan, together with their family, celebrate the full-month ceremony of their newborn son. From the sacred hair-cutting ritual and name-giving to heartfelt prayers for peace, every moment is filled with love and meaningful family traditions. Each step marks a new, hopeful beginning. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support Diem and Toan, and stay tuned for the next emotional episodes. The morning sun filtered softly through the curtains, casting a golden hue across the living room. The house was alive with gentle laughter and the rustling sounds of preparation. It was a special day, a day to celebrate the full-month milestone of Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan's newborn son. The occasion was not just a family tradition, but a sacred moment of gratitude, prayer, and unity. In the kitchen, Diem's older sister moved swiftly between the stove and the long dining table, arranging trays of traditional Vietnamese dishes: sticky rice with mung bean, sweet lotus seed soup, boiled chicken shaped like a lotus blossom, and a large fruit platter that shimmered with color. She was meticulous, adjusting every item to make the offering table perfect. Her hands were steady, but her heart brimmed with pride and joy. After all, it wasn't just a celebration for her nephew, it was a blessing for the entire family. Meanwhile, in the corner of the living room, CEO Toan was carefully unfolding a crimson envelope. Inside it was the name he and Diem had chosen for their son, written in bold brush strokes on rice paper. Nguyen Hao Men. It read, "Brilliant Light." It was a name that held generations of hope, carrying the strength of the family line and the quiet prayer that their child would grow up brave, kind, and wise. He placed the envelope gently next to the ancestral altar, beside fresh chrysanthemums and a pair of incense sticks. Beneath the soft hum of a lullaby playing from a speaker, Diem sat near the baby's cradle, her eyes fixed lovingly on her sleeping son. Her body was still recovering, but her spirit radiated peace. She gently ran her fingers through the baby's fine hair, whispering promises only a mother could make, to protect, to guide, and to love him with every beat of her heart. Across the room, Toan's mother, now a glowing, proud grandmother, held a tiny ceremonial outfit she had sewn herself. It was made from soft white cotton, trimmed with pale blue silk, and embroidered with clouds and stars. "For my grandson's first celebration," she said softly, running her hand over the fabric with reverence. "May he always be watched over by heaven and earth." Despite their different roles in the household, everyone moved with a shared sense of purpose. Diem's sister lit candles in each corner of the room to invite good fortune. Toan hung red and gold decorations above the doorframe. The grandmother polished a silver comb and small scissors for the ritual cutting of the baby's hair, a symbolic act to welcome him into the world with strength and clarity. Outside, a light breeze stirred the wind chimes, and the scent of incense and freshly cooked rice drifted out into the garden. Everything was ready. In the center of it all, the cradle sat beneath a white canopy of lace, cradling the future of the family. The baby slept soundly, his tiny fists curled like flower buds, his breath light and rhythmic. Diem leaned over, pressing a kiss to his forehead. Toan joined her, resting his hand on the cradle, his eyes misty with emotion. "This isn't just a ceremony," Diem whispered. "It's the beginning of his story." And as the family gathered, hearts full and hands joined, They weren't just preparing for a ritual. They were welcoming a new soul into the world with food, laughter, prayer, and above all, love. As the sun climbed higher into the clear blue sky, the time came for the most meaningful part of the celebration, the naming ceremony and the symbolic haircutting ritual. This tradition, cherished for generations in Vietnamese culture, was a way to bless the newborn with a strong start in life and to formally introduce him to the family, the ancestors, and the world. Inside the family's spacious living room, now transformed into a sacred space filled with candles and fresh flowers, a small table had been set in front of the ancestral altar. It was carefully arranged with symbolic offerings: steamed glutinous rice dyed red for good luck, a boiled chicken with outstretched wings to represent protection, 3 cups of tea, and a plate of fruits. 2 incense sticks were lit, their thin trails of smoke curling into the morning light. They carried the family's prayers upward to their ancestors, to the heavens, to the spirits watching over their newborn child. Toan stepped forward, dressed in a traditional blue dye with golden embroidery. He bowed deeply in front of the altar, then spoke with a clear, steady voice. Today, on this blessed occasion, we present to you our son. We have chosen the name Nguyen Hao Men, meaning brilliant light, to honor our family's legacy and to offer him a future filled with clarity, intelligence, and goodness. Next to him, Ly Tu Diem cradled their son in her arms. She wore a pale lavender dye with delicate patterns of cranes and lotuses, symbols of harmony and peace. Her face was radiant with maternal grace, despite the lingering tiredness in her eyes. As she stood silently, she thought of all the hardships she had endured to bring her son into this world. Every sacrifice had led to this moment. The grandmother stepped forward with a silver comb and a pair of tiny gold-plated scissors passed down from her own mother. She knelt gently beside Diem and whispered blessings in a low voice as she prepared to perform the ceremonial cat talk Mao, the first haircut, meant to remove the negativity and burdens from the baby's birth and help him grow strong, smart, and healthy. May you walk in peace and grow in wisdom, she said softly. With great care, she combed the baby's fine black hair and snipped 3 small locks, placing them into a red silk pouch tied with gold string. This pouch would be kept safe in the family's heirloom box, a symbol of the child's first blessings in life. The baby, stirred slightly, blinked up at the faces surrounding him, and let out a small yawn, oblivious to the importance of the moment. Everyone clapped gently, some with tears glistening in their eyes. Diem's sister stepped forward and presented the baby with his first gift, a delicate jade bracelet said to protect children from illness and misfortune. For our little warrior, she smiled, fastening it gently around his wrist. Then came the prayers. Each family member took turns bowing at the altar, whispering heartfelt wishes. For good health. For peace. For the strength to grow up kind and true. The air was thick with emotion and quiet reverence. In the background, soft traditional music played from a bamboo flute recording, and the gentle hum of blessings filled the room like a lullaby from generations past. The rituals were more than ceremony, they were a promise. A collective vow to raise the child with wisdom, kindness, and deep-rooted love. As Diem looked down at her baby boy, now dressed in his ceremonial outfit and nestled peacefully in her arms, she felt her heart swell with a love beyond words. This wasn't just a milestone, it was the beginning of a life that would be protected, guided, and celebrated from the very first breath. As the formal rituals concluded and laughter returned to the air, the family prepared for the final part of the celebration, the prayer for peace. This was no ordinary prayer, it was a heartfelt plea whispered from generations past to the hopeful future resting in Ly Tu Diem's arms. It was also a moment of unity, where every member of the family, regardless of age, offered their deepest wishes for the child's health, happiness, and destiny. The courtyard had been carefully arranged for this sacred moment. Lanterns swayed gently in the wind, casting soft, warm light over the tiled floor. A low wooden table had been set with a clay incense bowl and a handwritten prayer scroll. The scent of jasmine flowers lingered in the air as the sun began to dip, painting the sky with streaks of coral and amber. CEO Toan stood beside his wife, one arm wrapped protectively around her shoulder. His eyes, so often sharp and calculating in the world of business, now glowed with tenderness. For all his success, this was his proudest moment, welcoming his son into the world, not with wealth or fanfare, but with reverence and love. The grandmother stepped forward again, holding the baby as if cradling a sacred promise. She led the family in prayer, her voice aged but unwavering. Great ancestors, spirits of the heavens, protect this child. Guide him with strength, shield him with light, and grant him the wisdom to choose the right path in all things. Each family member took turns lighting incense sticks and placing them carefully into the bowl. Diem's sister spoke next, her voice soft yet emotional. May our little star shine brightly even on stormy nights. May he grow to be a man of kindness, honor, and peace. Ly Tu Diem closed her eyes, clutching Toan's hand tightly. In her heart, she silently added her own prayer, not for success or power, but for safety. The world, she knew, could be uncertain, and their journey hadn't always been easy. But in her arms lay proof that love was stronger than fear, and hope always found a way through. Then it was Toan's turn. He stepped forward, holding his son for the first time during the prayer. Looking down at the infant's small face, he smiled, soft, vulnerable, deeply moved. His voice was low, but every word carried weight. My son, you are the light in our lives. I promise to protect you with everything I have. You may fall, you may face hardships, but know this, you will never face them alone. Your mother and I, your family, we are your roots and your wings. May your path be bright, and your heart always brave. With that, he bowed deeply, then returned to Diem, gently placing the child back in her arms. As twilight fell, the family gathered in a circle, and Diem's sister brought out a small box. Inside was a symbolic key carved from sandalwood. This is a gift from our family, she explained, a key to remind our little prince that he will always have a home here, in our hearts, no matter where life leads him. The baby cooed in response, as if understanding the depth of the moment. Laughter slowly returned, and so did the gentle music. Light meals were served, sticky rice, sweet lotus tea, and mooncakes for celebration. Children played under the lanterns, and adults shared stories of their own naming ceremonies long ago. But amid the joy, the deeper truth of the day lingered. A child had been welcomed not just into a family, but into a legacy. And in the hearts of Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan, a new chapter had begun, one written in love, tradition, and the quiet, unwavering promise of peace.